they got to wake up with their piss hot. So, you just got to be ready to go. And that's reality. That is the way it is.
Woke up with my piss hot. What a way to start. Sweat on my forehead, racing hard. Woke up with my piss hot. Ready to ignite. Let's raise some hell. Let's own the night.
Daniels, just a rookie. 26 out of 30. 87%, 231 yards. He rushes for 47. He's doing everything. Shredded, baby. CJ Stroud, 345 yards. Brings the Texans back. Wins it at the buzzer. Shred him, Stroud.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee. Welcome back to Flurry Sports. Welcome back, Desfacha Daro. Question in the chat. We'll get to that in a second. What's up? We'll talk about that. Any trade questions, any fantasy questions, anything at all, definitely send that in. That's going to be the main purpose of the show. As long as you guys got questions, that's going to be our focus, unless we truly get off topic about talking about something not even fantasy. Luke Rammer in the middle, Trevor Land on the right. I am Zach Bruner. All on Twitter, all on Blue Sky now. So definitely go check out Blue Sky as well. Kind of cool. Kind of a cool little vibe over there at the moment. Eventually it'll get ruined. Eventually Elon will buy it out and something else will come up, and that's fine too.
I wonder how long it'll take for the sex bots to come.
That's the thing. That's the thing that truly killed Twitter in my mind.
Yeah.
They've come back now. I'm not sure about you guys. I've gotten like a bunch of those in like the, not your actual DM folder, but like the requesting DM folder. Yep. I get those like once a day now.
Yep.
Not about it. Stupid. They're very interested in me though. That's kind of fun.
It's kind of a confidence booster a little bit.
For sure. It's like,
yeah,
you do want this right now, don't you? It is 3 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. But I respect it. I'm glad you're thinking about me.
Right.
And if you at home are also thinking about me in a different way, scan the QR code. So this is a new thing we're doing. It's Buy Me a Coffee. I think it's buymeacoffee.com/Zach Bruner, ZACHBRUNNER. But just scan the QR code, or in the link this in the description, there's a link that you can click it. There's a bunch of stats and data there to help you win your fantasy championship. But I think the best possible thing is we have a new membership. And with that, you get all of the stats, you get a bunch of perks, and best of all, you'll get put into a private group chat with us, with other members, and you can ask your fantasy questions. And I think that's probably going to be your best bet to help you win your championship. But there's also boom bust data. There's consistency data. There is what I call my opportunity index that shows you air yards. It shows you total looks a player has. It's essentially their potential to earn fantasy points, because opportunity leads to productivity. So scan the QR code, or if you go to my Twitter or any Flurry Sports article, you can probably find this. I do suggest joining this membership. And if you're watching this, let me just say, DM me on Twitter or Blue Sky. And if you have PayPal or Venmo, I'll give you half off your first month. I don't think I can give you half off in this for memberships, but I'll send that back to you. So $5, and you would get league winning strategy right now. I highly suggest doing it. Seriously. Even if you don't want my advice, you got 2 other people here, and you got a bunch of other people who are going to join. So definitely go and do that. First question, though. Desfacha just traded Connor and Westbrook Akine for Mixon. I love that. What about you guys?
Yeah, I do too. I've been kind of pushing the narrative that like James Conner's probably one to trade for. But I mean, Zach, you've been saying it all year long. There's been nobody more consistent this year than Joe Mixon. Like he's getting 100 yards and a touchdown every single game. Joe Mixon is a guy that you add to your team, and it's an instant boost, and that it might be a championship boost. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the only potential downside here is Mixon having a Week 14 bye. But outside of that, I mean, if we're talking about a playoff push, I'm assuming the playoffs start Week 15 or Week 16. You have 3 weeks of Mixon and 1 week without. That's still a home run deal.
Yeah, if you, again, one of the things of data that you get is my boom, bust, and consistency ranking. So it shows you how often a player is a bust for you, is a week winning play essentially, or is just worth a starting spot. Joe Mixon's been ridiculous. He has been a boom play, which is a top 6 running back on the week, 62% of the time. Saquon's been at half the time, and that's ridiculous. But Mixon's been a boom 62% of the time, a starter 87% of the time. He has never been a bust, and there really aren't that many players who can say that. He has been incredible. Week 14 bye does suck, but if you were sitting pretty, that's a guy you definitely need to trade for. Regardless of schedule, like his workload's insane. It's stupid, and he's super talented, obviously. So I love that. Westbrook-Ikhine, by the way, I give zero stock into how like reliable this will be, because he's done this in past years too. But he's kind of the new Tim Patrick, where all he does is catch touchdowns.
Yeah, he does it every year, and every year I go, no, I'm not going to pick him up. There's no way. Like this, it's Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. There's no way he scores again. And then like the second play of the game, he rips off a 75-yard touchdown, and one catch puts in a good week. So is that the time? Maybe DeAndre Hopkins is out of town. I don't know. I mean, there's opportunity for Westbrook-Ikhine, but it's never one that you can be like excited to start.
I don't think he's a bad player. It's just he's not a standout player. And then you're talking about on an offense that's not super good, a quarterback who's not very good. So, I mean, how many double negatives need to put together? And then it's like, at that point, screw it. I'll play somebody else. Kay wants to know if you should trade away George Pickens for James Cook. PPR, 1 wide receiver. His wide receiver 1 is Jamar Chase. Wide receiver 2 would be McConkey or Marvin Harrison Jr. So it's not like he doesn't have talent. Who are your running backs?
I was going to say, I assume you probably need an upgraded running back. I don't hate this if you need an upgraded running back.
Would you rather trade, since he said it this way, I'm assuming it's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. Would you rather trade both McConkey and Harrison Jr. for Cook, or would you rather trade Pickens for Cook?
I like Ladd McConkey right now. I'd rather trade away Marvin Harrison Jr.
I mean, no, I'm saying I don't think you can get Cook
You
for
have to do
one
both.
of them.
No,
Package
yeah.
deal.
Oh, I see what you mean. I'd rather do Pickens.
Okay.
I think I would too. As much as I love George Pickens and as quiet as he's been, he's the third. He's third in receiving yards this year. I just like the depth a little bit more. You got a little bit more pieces to work with if you keep Ladd and Marvin.
That's fair. I think you're giving up a little too much if you do Ladd and Marv, and this isn't the question at all, so we won't spend much time on this, but I like Pickens a lot more. I think McConkey is kind of a fluke right now. I think he's a great talent. I think he's not going to be great this week. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. is Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a beta getting thrown to by a beta. So I think those two, I think the 2 rookies are going to be more inconsistent than Pickens. That's kind of just where my head's at. But would I do that trade? I think I would trade for James Cook. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think you have especially a lot of flexibility with Jamar Chase there because he's good enough to be 2 receivers right now.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get a little banged up because Bengals have nothing to play for at this point already. PPR dynasty trade, Tyreek Hill for Drake London. I think I want Drake London in any circumstance right now over Tyreek Hill.
Yep, that's the correct answer.
Like even if you're competing for this season, I think I don't love Drake London. But I think rest of season he might be better than Tyreek right now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
It doesn't seem like it's fine. Would you like to
It's
talk
not,
about it?
but it's fine. It's
You're
my
a big
bias for
Tyreek
Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
So I was fully where you were, I think, a couple weeks ago. The more I watch it, the more I'm backing away from the ledge with Tyreek Hill.
Oh,
Where
I
do you value
disagree.
him? You like him more from what you've seen.
Yeah. I've been talking up, and maybe I'm doing this as a downfall. They've lost 3 games in a row. I'm not saying Miami's a great team by any means.
They've won back-to-back games. You wrote down in your article. I corrected it, but they've won
Did I?
back-to-back games. I think you dreamt it or something. Yeah, they beat the Rams and they beat whoever they just beat.
Interesting. I don't know what I'm
Raiders?
looking at then.
Yeah, they for sure
Interesting.
won. So they got
Okay.
something to compete for now.
Okay. All right.
It helps your.
So-
I think that helps your case.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the thing I've been saying is that they're healthy now, right? I'm still not ready to give up. Like I want Tyreek Hill. I want the 200-yard game and 2 touchdowns. I want the 75-yard touchdown. Now, has that happened yet? No. I'm still on the fence. I've been saying it since week 2 when Tua got hurt. Mike McDaniels can't be stupid enough to not get Tyreek Hill the ball in space. And I know it's not totally Mike McDaniels, but Tyreek Hill's too good of a player to not be involved. I think Tyreek Hill is planes better than Drake London. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I'm not a huge Drake London guy. I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins guy. But I guess kind of the trajectory of the teams, Atlanta's probably a little bit better of a team than Miami. So I can see where having Drake London is more beneficial for Tyreek Hill. But if it's coming down to those two, I think I'm rather taking a risk here on Tyreek Hill. I like that a little bit more.
I think on a per game basis, maybe Tyreek's better rest of season. It's tough for me right now, especially if the Dolphins lose a couple more games and supposedly has a torn tendon in his wrist. Like, why wouldn't he shut it down? Offensive line isn't good enough to give him like a deep bomb. So if he is getting those short passes, just getting him the ball in space, he's not inviting contact. Like he's getting away from contact
Yeah.
even more than usual, which has him. It's just short gains, and it's just I don't know. It makes me sad watching it. I want to believe where you are. Part of me still is where you are, but man, Tyreek Hill is like, he ain't it right now.
Yeah, I get it.
Bums me out.
I get it.
I don't think it's a him thing either. I think it's mostly
I
the
don't.
rest of the offense,
Right.
which is harder. Perico trade away Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, and Tank Dell for Saquon, Garrett Wilson, and Amari Cooper. Running backs right now are A-Chain and Gibbs. Flex is Jacobs, so he'd be replacing Gibbs with Saquon and flexing Wilson instead of Jacobs. Putting it like that, I like that a lot more.
Also, his wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Lamb, and Higgins.
So you're stacked. You're just improving the start. Yeah, I like it because truly you have so many players where depth is irrelevant. Like you're just
Yeah.
looking for a better starting lineup, and I think you got a better starting lineup.
Yeah, originally I hated this, but if your depth's that deep, you go for the elite talent every time. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, that's cool with me. I think I think Tank Dell. I don't love giving him up for Amari Cooper, but just if you can get Saquon and Garrett Wilson, that's fine. It's fine for throwing players.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think they're both inconsistent, so I don't care. Truthfully, the worst thing you can be for me is inconsistent. Like
Yeah.
in my mind, you're dead to me for fantasy. I can't do it. No.
So,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Kay. We asked him about his running backs, the pickings for James Cook. His running backs are Josh Jacobs and Chase Brown.
Yeah, then I want James Cook.
I think I might stay with my wide receiver depth at that point. I think your running backs are solid.
I would try to trade McConkey and see what you can do because everyone's so on McConkey, and I think he's probably going to let people down this week. There's people thinking he's top 10 guy this week, and they're like, oh, because
Yeah, that's
Ravens
crazy.
can't cover. Ravens can't cover anybody. One player can. Marlon Humphrey in the slot where Ladd McConkey is. Like people are ignoring that completely. So it might be more of a Josh Palmer game, more of a Quentin Johnston possibly. Will Disley, love him this week.
Yeah.
As long as Hayden Hurst stays out. Otherwise, it might be a Hayden Hurst revenge game. No Dog, how bad of a blunder is it trading Tyrone Tracy for Ramondre Stevenson? I don't think it's a blunder. I do like Stevenson more.
Do you? And it's probably ignorance on my part. Like I had not paid much attention to the Patriots. I have no stock of Ramondre Stevenson. But like Tyrone Tracy, I like what I've had from him. It feels like his receiving upside is probably a little bit better for overall points than Ramondre Stevenson, right?
Probably, yeah. And I think this question is that Null Dog got Ramondre Stevenson, gave away Tyrone
Right.
Tracy. So, but I mean, back-to-back 20 carry games, I believe it is for Ramondre Stevenson.
I
I
guess
think
he's
Tracy's just got an inconsistent workload on an inconsistent offense.
yeah. Yeah, and I guess what Tracy probably makes up for in receiving yards, Stevenson makes up for in carries inside the 5.
And just from like maybe it's an old football head thing, but I don't like a player who's not used to playing running back for a full season in the NFL. Like I
Fair.
just feel like Tracy's just going to break down. That's a big jump. He's played running back, I think, 1 season in college before
Mhm.
this. So saying you're going to be taking all these NFL hits for a full season, I hate that. Doesn't
Yeah,
seem like
that's
it would
fair.
work. Just to go along with that, we'll get back to other. Oh, we're not really skipping anything. So Null Dog has James Conner, Josh Downs, Devontae Smith, or Bucky Irving this week at flex PPR. Let me bring my rankings up. I think
He
Connor, though.
also has Juwan Johnson in there as well, he says.
Juwan
Yeah.
Jennings. Yeah.
Or
Um,
Juwan Jennings, yeah.
Who does the Cardinals play?
Seahawks.
I would go Connor then. I think.
Yep.
Trevor, you
I
too?
agree.
Okay. How about getting Amon-Ra St. Brown for DK Metcalf and Taysom Hill?
Yes.
I also
Yes.
have McLaurin, Moore, and Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes. Yes,
Uh,
and then move Brian Thomas for something.
Yeah, I just hate having Brian Thomas being there. Like I'm trying to figure out a way to get him into this trade.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, you need reliable options. So I love St. Brown here, at the very least.
I do too. I think Taysom Hill is pretty decent the rest of the way though too.
That's fine.
That
but
could be
St.
last game, but
St. Brown's a championship winner in my mind.
probably right. I mean, he's my number 1 wide receiver currently for the week, so
Yeah.
clearly I like him. K has Travis Etienne that destroyed him, and he has that is from a different one, Josh Jacobs and Chase Brown. Yeah, I think that means you can be a little bit more. I think you can be more hesitant on that trade. Like I think you can get more for George Pickens. I think he's more valuable than James Cook. My trade value thing comes out. Chart comes out tomorrow on flurrysports.org. Questions. Should I trade? Asks David. Brees Hall and DK Metcalf for T. Higgins and Chuba Hubbard. No.
No way.
That might be. If you're telling me neither T. Higgins or Chuba Hubbard are on the field in week 14, that wouldn't be surprising in the slightest.
Not at all.
Lalitz. Trade Josh Jacobs and Zay Flowers for Pollard and Jefferson.
Oh,
That's a tough
interesting.
one. Pollard, I think, is pretty much for sure going to get worse as the season goes on. Titans want to limit his touches more and more just because they're not playing for anything.
This is one where you probably rank them, right? Justin Jefferson's first, and then Jacobs, Flowers, whatever order you want, and then Pollard's probably last. So it's probably a good trade for both sides, honestly.
I agree. If Pollard would be your running back 3 at best. Like, I don't want to do this trade and have him be my running back 2, I don't think.
Well,
If he's your
probably,
running back 3, I'm doing it.
well, I'm guessing it's probably going to be a running back 2, right? If you're getting rid of Jacobs.
There's a lot of people with Jacobs as a 3, though.
Okay.
You're probably right, but I've seen a lot of people. I have Jacobs as a 3.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible. But yeah,
I don't hate this trade. I don't hate getting Justin Jefferson.
talking as someone who has Pollard as my running back 2 in too many leagues, I hate that. If you do it, I'm trying to make another trade. I don't want him there at all.
Yeah. I just don't love, like, both Jacobs and Flowers are both touchdown dependent, right? To really cash in good weeks. And Zach, you kind of talked about it off the show for consistency. Like, Zay Flowers has been as inconsistent as anyone in the league this year.
He has. I just want to bring up, okay, he's been more consistent than I thought. So Justin Jefferson doesn't have that top end value this year, but I guess he's been consistent. He's been a starter in 90% of weeks. He's been a top 10 guy twice. So it's just, I'm not really trading for top end value. I'm just trading for consistency, which I don't mind. but I don't know.
You're losing too much for that consistency, in my opinion. I'm rolling with Jacobs and Flowers.
Did they respond with anything else? Not yet. If Pollard's your running back 3, I'm not hesitating. I love the trade. It's just because I think Jacobs falls off. I think that's pretty obvious. Say Flowers is for sure inconsistent. So yeah, I just don't believe Justin Jefferson becomes that top 5 guy every week. That's kind of where my head's at. Like, I think he continues to be solid. I just don't think he's the Justin Jefferson of past seasons with Sam Darnold.
Yep.
For those in leagues with Team D, look at rest of season for Bucks and Cardinals. Outstanding. Yeah, Dan.
For sure.
Like, rest of season rankings, and again, I have rest of season playoff rankings. So I have it broken down by position. I have it broken down by every single team. Defense will be in there. That's very important. Very important. And also in the boom bust consistency rankings, I think the position that gets slept on in there is team defense for sure. But kicker, people don't even consider looking at kicker. I think the kicker data for that's more important than almost any other data. Like, there's so much you can take from that.
Like if he was tight end, Chris Boswell's like tight end 1 right now for points. He'd be like wide receiver 6 or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's been insane. George or Jorge, one of the two.
Or George.
Brees Hall, or Georgie. You're right. So Georgie has Brees Hall and Pickens for Mixon and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, interesting.
I think
I don't think
want
so.
Mixon and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, probably right.
I believe Harrison Jr. has a very strong playoff schedule.
Yeah, Cardinals have an easy schedule moving forward here. Yeah.
I'll go the other way only because I've been burned by Marvin Harrison Jr. too much. I don't have him in a lot of redrafts. Obviously, it's a lot different than Dynasty, completely different. But and I love Joe Mixon, but with that Week 14 bye, I don't know. I'd rather have guys the whole time and a wide receiver that doesn't piss me off. So I'd go Hall and Pickens, but Mixon is clearly the best player in this trade.
I will say you get Mixon's the running back that doesn't piss you off. Maybe Harrison Jr. would piss you off. I can tell you Brees Hall pisses people off right now.
Pisses me off.
Yeah, he's been a starter in just over half of weeks. So not the best. Would we rather have Mostert or Wright as a backup to A-Chain? For sure, Wright.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's sad, but yeah.
Yep. Keeping the same quarterback, tight end, and running back in a starting lineup with McBride, Kyler, Gibbs, and Henry. What starting lineup do you like more? Wide receiver and flex, AJ Brown, Evans, Stevenson, and Reed, or Jawan, or Evans, Terry McLaurin, Chase Brown, Jane Reed, Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings, looking to consolidate depth. So which group do we like
I like
more?
that first group better. Although, does he have all these guys on his team right now?
I think so. Yes.
I like a combination of AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Ramondre Stevenson, Chase Brown, and Juwan Johnson, and try to move Jaden Reed and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think it's going to be tough to sell Terry McLaurin after last week. I think so many people were just waiting for that dud, and boy, was he bad.
Yeah.
I think people lost full confidence in him. So he might almost be undervalued. I think I like the first one more overall. I'm excited Mike Evans is back this week.
I just like the star power more with AJ Brown and Mike Evans.
I think so too. That's kind of where my head was at. I don't want to be in a position where I have to rely on Deebo Samuel or Jaden Reed too much.
Nobody talks about how Deebo Samuel just like not that good of a receiver.
Oh, no. Not really at all. The big story a couple of weeks ago was Seahawks had all these plans. They wanted to pair both Metcalf and Deebo in that same draft. I'm like, holy shit. They're the same guy, except for Deebo's a little more consistent because of his role. Like that team would be bad.
Yeah.
It would not work whatsoever. Really quick, just because it's possibly interesting. I don't have the info yet. How consistent do you think Deebo Samuel is this season?
He has to be a starter in less than 40% of weeks.
Trevor, what's your guess?
I don't know if that's a hot take, but
Less than 35.
So he has been a starter in 44% of leagues, but he's also been a complete bust in a third of games. So, and he's never been a top, I think it's 6 for this, or maybe it's 8. He's never been a boom play. So he's never been a guy who single-handedly won you a matchup, and he's possibly single-handedly lost you a matchup in a third of weeks. He has not been good. And people are ranking him as top 5 guy still, like rest of way.
Just look back at last week, right? George Kittle's out, Ricky Pierce still does nothing, and Deebo still does basically nothing.
Yeah. Makes no sense to me. He's better than that. Like, I get they're a little spoiled, but I get the frustration with Kyle Shanahan by Niners fans. When he doesn't get to call his game, he can't really go off script outside. He can't color outside the lines, essentially. He can go off script and call his own plays. But if the situation isn't right and they're chasing points, they're not comfortable, the fakes don't work, they can't keep running the same looks every time, it doesn't work. And he doesn't know how to adjust in the middle of the game to something that he didn't plan for.
Yeah,
It's
it feels
weird.
a lot and given that they're like best friends, it feels a lot Packerish, right? Especially with Deebo Samuel and Jaden Reed like having the exact same role. That they just I agree. They can't adapt to playing down by 10 points.
No. I mean, the record of Shanahan trailing in the fourth quarter or whatever kind of proves that. And it's not even like a Brock Purdy's a system quarterback thing. I think that's kind of dumb. It's just the system is the system, I think.
Right.
And that's not taking away from any of the individual players. It's just
it works. It works when you're playing from ahead.
yeah, and it's never going to work on a consistent basis.
Right.
There's just every once in a while you're going to get hit in the fucking face, and it doesn't work. When is the team defense playoff rankings coming out? I am not going to bed tonight until it comes out. How about that?
And that's a guarantee.
That is a guarantee.
Zach, you can stay up and watch it snow while writing defensive articles. Doesn't that sound like great football?
I just drove 3 hours in the snow.
We haven't got it yet.
It's every time. And it's not a fun thing to talk about. It's not a clever thing to talk about, but it truly is the most frustrating thing the first time it snows because everyone fucking doesn't know what they're doing. Like they have never driven in the snow before. There's people on the interstate going 40. It's not even sticking. Nothing's happening.
Yep. It happens all the fucking time. Even in like down here in Milwaukee in the suburbs where there are a ton of people, like it's melting. It's basically rain, and we're going 40. And then during the season they slowly get better, and then at the end of the year on like the last snow, they all drive like jackasses again, going like 20 miles an hour over, and then you get all more accidents again.
It's so annoying. But Jimmy, right after this stream, we have Lombardi Sweep, a Packers podcast, and right after that, get into work. So we will be completely redoing that. So there's going to be data for both weeks 14 through 18, just in case you have a weird playoff schedule like Trevor in one of his leagues. Like you can look just in case you start too early, or God forbid you're a league that plays in week 18. I'll have that. But then the compiled playoff schedule is weeks 15 through 17, like a fucking good American boy plays fantasy football. That's how
Damn straight
is going to be. But that's super good. It's super good information to have. Obviously, good buy low, sell high stuff. Null Dog had all of those players, the 2 groups we looked at before. He's trying to trade, so he was kind of weeding out who to trade away, probably.
That makes sense.
Yes. I haven't even read this. I just saw he's calling me out. When are we going to rank Juwan over Deebo? Been saying that since week 9. I know I'm already lower on Deebo than the consensus. It could be this week. Where is the consensus on those two? Let me look really quick. I will say though, the 1 week I've been taking a stand on Tillman a decent amount, but I ranked him so aggressively high last week, and then he did nothing. So Juwan Jennings this week is the consensus wide receiver 17.
Oh,
Wow, they came up from this morning. And Debo is the consensus wide receiver 11. So they've actually come a lot closer together over the day than I thought. I wonder if there's been like a Debo Samuel injury reported or something. I have the injury report somewhere here. He's not on the injury report. I don't know. That's correct though. They should be closer together. Just because Debo's Debo. Randy, should I start Goff or Stroud?
probably
I have
Goff.
rankings here. Probably. I can guarantee Goff's higher. I just want to see how much higher.
For as highly touted as the Texans' offense was in the offseason, and rightfully so after what we saw last year, I don't think anyone would have guessed that Joe Mixon has been there just a stud on offense for him.
He's been so much better. Jared Goff, quarterback 7 at Indy. CJ Stroud, quarterback 17 versus the Titans. So I don't love the matchup either.
Yeah.
But that offensive line bad, and then with pressure in his face and film on him, that passing offense has not been good.
Right.
CJ Stroud's been bad. He's been an Ohio State quarterback. Makes us wonder a little bit. Trevor, I assume you're Goff over Stroud as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions are just boat racing everybody, and they're clearly showing that they don't give a shit how much they're up. They're going to continue to pass the ball, which is awesome. We've needed in the NFL for years. And so even if they get up 50 points, he's just going to keep flinging the rocks. So to your point, with the Tennessee defense, with that matchup, with that offensive line, is Jared Goff.
It is incredible how like Montgomery, Gibbs, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Brock Wright score every single week.
Yeah. I was very close to locking in a Shane Zylstra touchdown last week. I saw him because they had like in-game lines for touchdowns, and I saw him get a target right away. I'm like, oh my God, it's about fucking time. But I'm happy I didn't do that.
Do we think rest of the season over under half a touchdown reception for Penei Sewell?
Gotta be over. It's going to be week 16 at Chicago.
Yeah.
That seems like a Bears one.
Yeah.
They kind of have a tough schedule. After this week, it goes Chicago, Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, 49ers.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a gauntlet.
They're going to do some bullshit and get somebody hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the 49ers won't have anything to play for in that last week.
Very true. That's week 17. So, but even still.
No. That feels wild to say. And I still think they're the best team in the NFC, but it feels insane.
I can't argue for or against it. I don't know what I'm watching. Like, I think Detroit and Philly are better just because of the injuries the 49ers have, which is way more than people are talking about. But even still, they can't overcome anything. Merrimack, what's up, bud?
What up, Merrimack?
Would we trade McBride and Jameson for Odunze and Bucky Irving? I would plug in Disley, and Bucky would take over Jameson as your flex. Need a win this week. Need it.
So all bets are off the table. You're doing anything to win this week.
And if that's the case,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think I'd rather have McBride and Jameson.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not touching that trade at all. McBride's been pretty good, and Jameson Williams, I trust. Odunze hasn't done jack shit this year.
I think this, like, if it's a must, I like McBride and Jameson this week more than Odunze and Bucky at least.
Okay.
Yep.
I think Jameson has a good week. We just talked about Jared Goff. He gets to play on turf, which is good. But I have Jameson Williams as my wide receiver 22. So that's pretty good. That's wide receiver 2, maybe flex territory.
Yeah.
Is there another wide receiver in that trade? Odunze. I like him this week, but he's wide receiver 32 still. Like, matchup against the Vikings is only as good as you can block up front. Like, yes, their secondary is not very good, but they're going to bring the blitz on every single play. and we shall see. Bucky gets the Giants. I agree. I like him this week. Who's to say the other two running backs don't get the touchdown?
Yep.
Sure.
Exactly. And Jameson, does this not feel like a game that Jameson Williams busts out a 60-yard catch? Now, I understand it's every game for Jameson Williams, but I mean, in a dome, it feels like he's unstoppable in a dome.
And I mean, McBride's good too. McBride plays Seattle. Is that what we said?
Yep.
He's my tight end 3. Seattle's just not a very good team. I mean, there's no weeks where he's really bad. He's basically as safe as it comes. His only downside, and it's a big one, it's the same thing as Brock Bowers most weeks, is that he's not really going to score touchdowns. But if he scores a touchdown, all of a sudden he's huge for you.
I think it's 1 this year, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and Bowers was it his first score this past week.
Yeah, I think so.
I got it right here. He's had back-to-back touchdowns. But, I mean, tough to expect the Raiders to score a touchdown, period. Not that it matters in this scenario. Ask any other questions. Definitely. Anybody watching, anybody listening. Also join the membership. Join the dogs. That is the lowest tier. But then if you're a war daddy, holy shit, we need you on the squad. So definitely join that tier. That tier gets everything. That tier gets betting picks. That tier gets everything. Bunch of winning picks went out last week. Pays for itself. Good stuff there. And again, if you DM me on Twitter, I will give you half of your first month back for free, either PayPal or Venmo, please. Those are the two I got. So if you pay for a membership first month, going back your way, whether it be the lowest tier, the dog tier, or the war daddy tier, for sure go do that. And we're happy we saved your season. This is what we're kind of saviors in that way. So, but it's not us. We can't. There's nothing to save without you, Merrimack. Nothing.
That's true.
So, thank you. Go ahead.
I got a question to fill the time. We're in Wisconsin, and
Yes.
there's always, well, it's up there. But I got a quick question about snow. Everybody always argues about what's the first snow. For you guys, is it the first time you see like snow coming down when it's a weird sleet and it melts on the road and it's not even freezing? Or is your first snow like proper snowflakes coming down slowly? Even if it doesn't stick, you got to at least be able to see them, bigger than a dot.
I don't know. I think
snow's something.
You think so?
Okay.
I don't know. I think snow.
Because like today it was really small. It almost looked like sleet. And I'm like, this doesn't count as the first snow. If I can't see the flakes, it doesn't count.
On the way home, it was definitely a mixture between like rain and sleet for the entire day. And it's melting pretty much everywhere on the ground. But it's sticking to people's windshields right now. So if you drive by, there's white windshields. So I think that counts as snow. My deck is all snow.
I'll say probably the first snow for me is when you get up in the morning to go to work and you look outside and you got to brush off your car window.
I don't argue. I don't think that's wrong. I feel it's the first, you know what it is. This is what it is. It's the first time it causes you any nuisance. Any at all.
Yeah, where you got to get up like 5 minutes earlier to get up and start your car and brush it off, and then you're cold coming
small.
in. Yeah,
it can be the smallest thing. You're walking inside and you got glasses on, and it sticks to your glasses, and then you got to wipe your glasses off. It's like, that's annoying.
The worst.
The
worst is like your mustache kind of freezes, or like the snot in your nose freezes, and you can't breathe well. I don't know, but I like to think that builds character. That's why we're not a pussy fucking state like down south, like Florida and fucking California and shit.
1000%. Snow, give or take. I'd rather not have snow, but cold, like in Superior, like every other year there was a 50 below wind chill day. If that shit makes people, that builds grit, that makes Boys to Men. Shout out Boys to Men. But that is definitely what makes us good. I listened to a lot of Boys to Men on the way home, by the way.
Hell yeah. My take is I like below freezing weather.
I like it too.
I
truly enjoy it. You're totally right. Because if I go outside, my battery's dead or something, or like my car won't start, I'm almost like, son of a bitch. But then you crack that little smile. It's like,
you're right. You're like, this is why I live here.
Truly, starting your car 10 minutes early, like it feels. If I don't mind it.
You know what's incredible? You get up in the morning, you go downstairs, start your car, you're freezing, you're probably still like wearing shorts from the night, from when you slept in. You go out and snowing, freezing below, and then start your car and you get in your, shivering. You get in that shower. That shower feels great, first of all, but it takes, you do your half hour to get ready, you get back in your car, and when that thing is heated up, that is the best feeling in the world. And like me, I have a long drive to work. I'm getting 40 minutes of just nice, toasty car ride.
You're also, let's not forget this. You're the guy who goes out, hard starts his car, and leaves it.
There it is. I was waiting for somebody to bring that up. You're a psychopath when it comes to starting your car.
Why?
Dude, who starts a car when you're in the shower?
Yeah. It's a little wild.
That's how people get their cars stolen, dude.
No, because I have the push to start now, where you have to have the key in the car.
Now,
so I can bring that back
before
inside.
you did
But before, no, that thing was running for minutes, for half hours on end, with car just ready to be driven.
That's just such a waste of gas, too.
And you know what? And I did that in college too, which was even crazier now that I think about it.
That is wild. I will say, push to start. I'm sick of it. Mark my words.
No.
You guys can call me out whenever. I'm going out there. I'm putting the keys in the car every time this year.
Yeah, it's like
That
if
kind of year.
it's like if you're on a treadmill, you got to like put the incline to 0.5 just to make it a little bit harder.
Walking uphill.
Yeah.
How you do anything is how you do everything. And this is for members, this is what I'm saying to you right now. I'm starting the car and putting the keys in the car every day this winter. And if that is not metaphoric to what you're going to get as a member, shit. Like, I don't know.
I don't have remote start, so I have to. So
Look at that. Don't need it.
No,
Maybe
I
I'll throw
also
away my remote start. Throw it away.
I also don't have remote start, but I don't have a keyhole for my key to be in. So I have to push the button in the car.
Same. That is a good point. That's a great point, actually. Yeah, I can't throw it away, actually. That would cause a lot of issues. I'm glad we talked that out. Pickens over Chase Brown rest of season. Traded away Brown for Pickens. He was on bye. Merrimack's been talking to me on Twitter. He's been in must-win situations here down the stretch. So definitely living week by week.
It's more fun that way.
It is. And I think they're close rest of season. I think I might like Pickens more. It's close.
probably.
Yeah, I'm cool. Like I don't think you're wrong either way, to be honest.
No, and if you're in a better situation, like if you got to just like coast the playoffs and cheer for somebody, way more fun to cheer for George Pickens right now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? You're 100% right. Like that, I didn't even think about it till now. The payoff, there is no downside to being like in must win every week, right? Because if you miss the playoffs, like damn, just missed it. If you make the playoffs and lose, you're like, but I made the playoffs. If you win it, it's a great payoff. But if you just coast the whole season and you lose, devastating. If you coast the whole season and you win, it's like, well, I should have won.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. Week to week is better.
Yeah, you're on a legendary run right now, and it's going to be incredible when you hoist the trophy. It's going to feel so good. Bronson, trade. I love this already. Trade Mahomes, Brian Thomas. Love
Yes.
that. And Bucky Irving for Mixon and Russ.
Yeah.
That is
Every day of the week and twice on Sundays. That is a fantastic trade. Because you have Tua and Geno there. You already have Chase, London, Debo. Like I don't love Debo or Terry or Ladd, but like as your third, that's great. And then now you have Jacobs and Mixon at the two running backs. Please.
I think I agree, but man,
What are you stumped on here?
Russell Wilson.
But like, what is Mahomes better at than May, Tua, or Geno?
What's Mahomes better at?
No, in terms of fantasy protection, my bad.
I'm just saying, Chiefs just got pissed off. Like,
I know.
Scorched earth, man.
Is Mahomes really a pissed off quarterback? I think he's too much of a bitch to be a pissed off quarterback.
No,
like he was like Las Vegas, like really fucked up, and then didn't he only have like 2 touchdowns and like 280 something for yards?
He takes his home life out on the football field. Every little bullshit thing that his wife says, he throws a touchdown to Travis Kelce for. Like at this point now, after losing to the Bills, he had to go home and hear from his wife about what she would have done better. Like, you can't lose to the Bills. This is what would have happened. And now he's angry.
Yeah.
Watch them lose again this week. Watch them lose to the Panthers.
Listen,
if that happens,
we can't call Mahomes like that. Like, oh, he gets angry. Like, Las Vegas actually pissed him off, and he had 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick after being like, they're ruminating it all year, and then you play the Raiders, and that's how you fucking play. Like, I feel differently because he's my quarterback and he screwed me all year, but like, you can't be pissy and then put up quarterback 15 numbers and be like, watch out for him off a loss.
I'm not a Patrick Mahomes fan. I don't dislike him or really like him, but he's a killer, dude. I fully disagree. I think he's a bulletin board material guy. He's a killer. With that being said, I think I still like the trade just because you got rid of Brian Thomas. Lucky. That's good for you. But boy, I'm not comfortable with Tua, Geno, and Russell Wilson. What are we talking about?
Damn, that's a gritty group.
It's not. This is a week 14. We're scrambling because no one's fucking there. This is not a group where I'm feeling good. None of them have safety at all. Seahawks start losing. Sam Howell comes in. Russell Wilson starts losing or gets hurt pushing a sled again. And Fields is there. And Tua's going to die.
I will say, there's a quarterback out there who's got 2 good matchups this week and next week. Tommy DeVito.
I don't hate him this week. He's a good streamer. He's in a good spot. And I think he makes neighbors better, by the way.
I do too.
He just had a hard time letting go of Mahomes because it's Mahomes. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not even saying you made a wrong choice. I'm just saying I'm not feeling good about it.
This is my argument for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I fully get that. And he says maybe Brian Thomas does better since he's the only wide receiver there. Only if Trevor Lawrence plays though. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to play, and I don't like Brian Thomas the rest of the way. His schedule gets tough, and he's just on a bad offense. So, I think you feel lucky you traded him for value.
I'll tell you what, Bronson. I will personally keep Mahomes as my starting quarterback the rest of the year for you, so that he will do bad on my team, and he won't come back to bite you for trading him away.
Mahomes just had a pretty down week, right?
Yeah, it's been his whole season. I think he's only had one top 7 or 8 week all year, I think.
Okay, yeah. So he was quarterback 17 last week. He's been 17 most weeks, it seems like. Okay, so are people down on Patrick Mahomes right now? He's in the middle of a good stretch. I'm
in fantasy.
What's the schedule the rest of the way? Let's take a look. Panthers, yes. Why is ESPN doing this? There we go. Good job, ESPN. Quick look. My running back hasn't done anything yet, Luke, against you.
Good.
So that sucks. Okay, Chiefs have Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans. Texans could potentially be a tough champion. Oh no, Steelers is their championship week.
Oh, yikes.
Championship week is on Christmas? That's wild.
No.
That's awesome.
No, that's not right.
It is.
That's awesome.
The problem is you're not going to be able to watch that game because it's going to be on Netflix.
Oh. Yeah. True. Yeah, so it's a Wednesday game for your champion. That's a wild fantasy championship week, huh?
That's awesome. That is fair. Nothing's better than winning your fantasy league on Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or ruined on Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see.
It can't be any worse, also, to your point, than losing a fantasy league. And, like, especially you have to be surrounded by the family members that you don't like. Like your annoying nieces and nephews and your aunt who doesn't stop trying to give you hugs.
If if you do get ruined, you can just turn on the Mickey Mouse stream of the Knicks 76ers game. I think they're doing a Mickey Mouse stream.
Really?
Yeah.
It's gonna make me want to throw some fucking hands at the family Christmas.
I'm interested to see what the Simpsons stream is this weekend for Monday Night Football. I think it is. I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure.
Could be bad, but could be great. We'll see. In Clip Next, I do remember you. You're the one who was falling into a dark void when we exited off the stream, and you were screaming, "No, wait!"
Somehow you kept sending messages after the show ended.
It was pretty
Yeah, it
cool
was
on our
wild.
end. So you're saying we don't drink
I
sweet tea?
drink it occasionally. Settle down.
I like sweet
Don't
tea.
make me unsubscribe. Say you love sweet tea right now.
I got a take that's not very hot, but I think it's needed. Anybody who is that passionate about sweet tea, it's a little weird.
That's a lot of the South. I will
I don't
say
know,
though,
yeah.
and I need dead silence for this, Luke, because I need Clip Nexus full attention. Sweet tea stinks. Not good. And I love that my only opinion was the one that you remember, because I do remember Luke and Trevor both liking it and me saying I'm wrong, but I hate it. And I'm suddenly realizing I'm right, and I still hate it more. It's just not good.
It's not a good enough drink to be that passionate about, and the South. It doesn't surprise me though, because like you look at every map with like where things are good in the U.S. and where things are bad, and the South is always bad, and I feel like sweet tea is one of those things.
Is sweet
That
tea
and
caffeinated?
Education. No,
Well, just
I
like-
don't
Do
think
they do?
Life expectancy
difference.
too.
Clipdex is typical sweet tea. Is it caffeinated? I'd like to know that, because if it's not, garbage water.
I
Hey,
don't
what's the
think it
point?
is.
If you guys use fucking decaf tea for sweet tea, losers. Like, I can't imagine they're falling asleep trying to fight the union. Crazy. Like, no wonder that didn't work out.
I don't know. I like sweet tea. I think it's fine.
Okay, well, say subscribe for Luke.
You know what is great? When you get
Everything else.
when you get a really good snow, and then you build a campfire.
Yes.
That's great.
Or
Okay. Clipdex.
I think it's got to be a good snow, but a snow where either you don't have to go anywhere or it doesn't cause like a nuisance. Like I'm fine with driving in snow, but if I have to shovel or like my wheels are spinning right out the gate, like I'm all out. That's too much snow.
Winter campfire, great. Winter beach campfire, elite, in my opinion. Any beach campfire, I think, is top tier.
Yeah.
But winter one, we
What-
did that
what
at Lake
about-
Superior a lot. It's great.
People do this, and I don't think I've ever done it, but like you're ice fishing, you get a fire going on the ice.
That always weirds me out, but
Yeah.
I've been to one and I was on edge the entire time.
Yeah, right.
Like I'll never do it again, because I wasn't high, but I might as well have been. I was tweaking the entire time. Like, this
Right.
physically is not possible. We need to go. We need to not be here.
We should we should add something like if we get enough subscribers, we should all do a polar bear plunge. I think that would be fun.
Have you guys done those before?
I have.
Never.
I like it. I think it's fun.
It's a
It'd be
lot
a
more
good time.
caffeinated than sweet tea.
No shit. Yeah. There's no one who's done it and yawned afterwards.
Right.
Pretty confident. This is interesting though. We're learning something. So places like Virginia and North Carolina, not caffeinated, but
And let
everywhere
me-
else it is. That's
And
interesting.
let me tell you, that's why we have 2 Virginias and 2 Carolinas, because the first one's fucked it up enough. So that's why.
Wait, I will say though, I think they're the better halves.
Well, I was gonna say, what's the correlation here? Like Virginia and North Carolina both are like historically good basketball states, and non-caffeinated sweet tea. Is that any correlation at all?
I'm wondering, but I will say South Carolina, West Virginia, grittier states than the other two.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
the like 3 teeth hillbilly states.
Psychopaths.
Yeah,
I was gonna say they don't grit their teeth though because they don't have any. So
yeah.
That is true. That is true. West Virginia is such a fun state. People there.
is it
Yeah,
fun or is it a little
it's
creepy,
fun.
a little scary?
I was recruited into a cult there. It was
Oh,
great.
that's fun.
That's true. I do remember that.
Yeah, the Hare Krishna Golden Palace trying to recruit us, and boy, I did not budge. They could not break through to me. It wasn't great. They were offended. There's someone trying to jump out a window. There was a lot of shit.
Oh,
There's a lot of stuff going on. It was quite the time. And then you would have to put like those hairnet things over your shoes to walk in their house. And Jake Osmond, co-host of the Florida Sports Podcast, has size 23 feet. He had to put 2 on each shoe. It was they were on edge with, they were like following him around. It was not great. Arturo, trade deadline in a few hours. Wow.
Oh.
That's wild. Should I keep Jaden Reed or send Jaden and Neighbors for Lamar Jackson? Let us know your
interesting.
quarterback.
Well, yes, Jade.
Oh, I was thinking Jaden Reed for some reason.
Oh no, Jane Daniels. I assume.
I assume you're right. I think I'm keeping.
Yeah,
Jaden
that's
Daniels
it's a lot to give up for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
you'd have
I'm
to be
keeping.
stacked a receiver.
Yeah.
I understand he hasn't been good, and Clipnex is wrong. There's no way. Not correct. I won't even spread the fake news to that.
Are we sure about that?
Kick him.
Sweet tea drinking
Kick
son of a bitch.
Kick him.
I should kick him. What happens if I star it? Anything? No, just pins it. Okay. Anything else before we get out of here?
Fuck you,
We have
Clipnex.
been on for an hour. It feels like shout out Stoof wherever he is. It feels like that might be him. I don't know.
Man, I miss Stoof. We need Stoof back.
I do too.
What was his little anagram or whatever? Not an anagram, but the 3 letters. MS
Oh,
don't know.
PvP.
PvP.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
That's right. I forgot that was Stoof. That is true.
Pizza burgers
A
pussy.
legend. That's right. 3 great things. Elijah Moore.
Yeah, true.
Elijah Moore.
True.
Mhm. We'll stay for a second just in case you have something to say.
Something tells me
Oh,
that
him.
one of Jacob's messages did not get through.
Yeah, Jacob, I should say. This is all we have received. If there's anything else you'd like to add, let us know. If not, I agree. He
You know
should
what
be
sucks?
good. Elijah Mar's got he's an interesting little streamer. He's been pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
What sucks?
When you forget to rake and then it starts snowing and you're like, well, shit, now I'm not going to rake until like March. And then you go out there, like every time you go to like shovel, you're just picking up leaves and dirt and shit. That's horrible.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I raked like twice, and then the wind blew the extra leaves away, and I was like, awesome. And then yesterday I got back in the rain, and they blew even more leaves on my yard. And I'm like, fuck this. This is next year's problem.
Yeah, I was kind of boycotting it because we got pine trees on our land, and then somebody else's leaves came onto our land. I was just kind of hoping the power of like, you know,
The law of
these-
averages.
well, just the law. Like, get the fuck off of my land. Like, and it has not worked. They're still everywhere. Dog hasn't picked up his shit this week either. It's a big deal right now. Watson, Waddle, Pittman, or Elijah Moore. Pick 2 full PPR.
Ooh,
So for this
interesting.
week,
These are all like the exact same
Nice.
player in my mind.
Yeah, they are all tough.
you're not wrong. Why can't I get Watson in my head? What's
Christian.
Watson? He's ranked so high by people this week. Let me find his consensus ranking. I don't understand. Where would you guys put him? Just a gut call.
Probably around the 35 range.
38,
Really?
40.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm low. So consensus has him at 33. Very
I
high.
think that is hot.
I have him at 48. And I might
I don't
bring
think-
him lower.
I don't think
That's
that's
fair.
crazy. Yeah, like I don't know, like 35 just top of the head, but anywhere like between 30 and 50 probably.
I just why are we doing this? It doesn't make sense. He had 1 week. Everyone's
You're right.
just desperate to like grab onto him. Like, told you Christian Watson's a thing. That's what this feels like. And maybe I'm just like told you he's not. I don't know, but
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you right now, I'm going to move him down because Christian Watson's dad was talking shit again this fucking week. Who would have thought? So he's going to put up an A this week. It always happens. His dad talks shit, tries to cash checks, and Watson isn't good enough to cash them. So he's not going to do anything this week. So for me, I'd go Pittman and Waddle, although I don't like that.
He says he needs upside, so that does change things a little bit, I think. I think I would go Waddle. I like his matchup. It's a risk, but he for sure has upside, and I think he has a good day. And then I think I'd go Pittman.
That's the same two guys I picked.
I know. I think I would do that, but I don't have much confidence. Like, there's no doubt Christian Watson has upside, though. It's just he has 90% downside, 10% upside.
Yeah, you guys are probably right. Like, I'm trying to think of a scenario where I want to make an argument that I want Pittman more than Pittman. I can't think of anything too substantial to back that up. So that's fine. Christian Watson, to your point, he has the same probability to get 20 points as he does get 0. And I mean, if we're bringing this whole show full circle, inconsistency is probably the worst thing in fantasy football.
So I was confused why everyone would rank him high this week, other than he just had finally a good week. So I just looked up what he's done against the 49ers in the past, just in case people were pulling from that. He has one game against the 49ers, and we all remember that game fondly. 1 catch, 11 yards.
Yeah.
Would it be surprising if that happens again?
Nope.
No. Clip next, how did we spell Stoof? Didn't have a YouTube channel. He was on Stoof Curry on
Don't tell him.
Twitch. Yeah.
Don't tell him. He needs
It's
to
not like
behave.
It's not like you don't know how to spell it. Stoof. You know it's you. You son of a bitch. Figure it out. Stoof Curry. Figure out how to spell it. Brunson Burner. Pacheco. Would you trade Pacheco for Tracy? I think I would.
I would.
Luke, you're on the fence.
I don't think so. I don't know.
My thought is I think Tracy has a larger share of the touches than Pacheco will have on his team.
Okay.
It's rolling the dice.
No, you're right. I think too that maybe I can't be crazy to think that. Like, I think the Giants' offense is probably a little bit better under Tom DeVito as well. I think they probably move the ball a little bit better. So yeah, I don't hate it. That's fine.
I don't think it'll be worse. It did break my heart a little bit hearing Drew Lock's interview today. Did you see that?
I do not.
They asked him, like, so you've been quarterback 2 the whole time, like, thought you were going to be quarterback 1 now or whatever, like, were you surprised or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I was told I was quarterback 2. I don't know what's going on. And he was just like very sad and pissed off. And he's just like, I mean, like, I don't know. Only thing I can say is I'll support Tommy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
like, come on, man.
I feel bad for him. Like he goes to Denver. He goes a shitty situation there. He gets out. He gets traded to Seattle. The same time Geno has a renaissance. He looks good when he's there. And now he goes to the Giants and he's passed up for a fucking Italian that went viral because of his agent. Like that's tough. And he's 28. Like he's not young.
We have no idea what Drew Lock is. No clue. And he had a lot of hype coming out of college. Like, he's gonna have some weird stretch with a team in a few years, I feel like.
Kind of feels like a Geno Smith.
A Geno or Ryan Fitzpatrick, like he finally sticks somewhere for a second. We'll see. And maybe it's the best thing for him because like he's staying healthy. And if he can learn the game a little bit and figure things out, his body's gonna be healthy and he'll, be a pretty good quarterback at some point. May, Richardson, or Russ, I'm assuming just this week. Let me look. Do you guys have any thoughts before I find the 3 here?
I think I'm just gonna keep. I'm gonna ride Russell Wilson another week. I think like he's been at least over the last like 3 weeks been kind of the most consistent out of these 3. So I'll go Russell Wilson. Although I don't love that they're bringing Justin Fields in, but I understand why Pittsburgh are doing it. They're winning games doing it. But from a fantasy football perspective, not having your quarterback on the field, I hate that.
I do as well. You also have to decide on Russ early because he plays tomorrow versus the Browns. I will say I have Richardson 14, May 16, Russ 18. So
All right.
kind of all in a row, kind of very similar. Trevor, what's your thoughts?
I'm Russell as well. Consistency. That's it. Like I can see Anthony Richardson putting up an absolute dud like he did against the Packers, against the Lions. And I don't trust Drake May at all. Although I do think he's talented.
Really? I think
Um,
Drake May is the safest of the three.
Really?
I say definitely second. And again, he's talented. I just don't trust him more than Russell Wilson right now.
I mean, Russell Wilson just finished quarterback 26. Last time Drake May finished as quarterback 26 was week 8 against the Jets.
Okay.
He's been top 17 the 3 games before that. And he was top 10 the 2 games before that. His rushing gives him a floor.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Shout out Drake May.
They benched Drew Lock not because he's the worst, it's because of his contract. It's a little bit because of his contract. It's mostly because like he could fuck around and win games. Like let's try to sell some tickets and let's try to lose some games. That's where the Giants are right now. And they're set up for it. Okay.
You know what'd be
If you
awesome?
got yeah, go ahead.
A team next receiving core next year, Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter.
I think there's
And
going to be
no
people in the
offensive
Giants
line.
building saying the same thing. Like, wouldn't it be awesome? That's what our quarterback needs. We'll find a quarterback. Maybe it'll be Aaron Rodgers with Bill Belichick there. Never know. Never know. Since the Jets want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and they wanted to since week 4, the owner did. What a stupid fucking football people can't be running football teams. We need to knock that off. I can't. Non-football people can't be doing it. So stupid. Okay, we'll be back in a little bit with Lombardi Sweep. We'll talk about the Packers. We'll have Janet join us talking about the game against the